So thank you for joining me and agreeing to do this. So I'm just
Thank you
going to
for
give you
having
a
me.
bit of an intro. So Gerri, if you do not know who Gerri is, she helps with female business owners step up, show personality, and share their story through images across their website, social media channels, any marketing material, really, anywhere you can put a photo.
Wherever.
As a mom of three, she knows very well the juggle of business and parent life. She's based in Glasgow, so she has one of my most favourite accents in the world ever. So I'm going to be sitting here soaking up the banter. As I head over now to Gerri, and I'll let you do a bit of a proper introduction there. And maybe you can also tell us a little bit about how you first got started with the idea of setting up Gerri Campbell Brand Photography.
Okay, so you've done all the bit about what I do and whatever, so I'll not repeat that. But so I am a qualified accountant by trade. So you did not know that. So
My favourite area.
yeah, not my favorite area, hence the reason I am not that any longer. So yes, I'm a qualified management accountant, and I went on maternity leave. So Ed is 24, so 24 and a half years ago, and I'm still on maternity. I'm still on maternity leave. I never went back. I had three children. So I had three children under four, and I decided my youngest has Down syndrome. So I decided that I just wanted to stay at home, be able to take them all, to appointments or whatever they needed, and I would do that. So the years went on. I worked in an interior design shop, and I kind of did a couple of other things, but nothing really concrete. But I always took photographs of my children, and I always took photographs of other people's children. Um, so before I knew it, Ed was in his last year at school, and he was applying for universities, not in Glasgow. He was definitely heading off. He was going away. He ended up going to Edinburgh. And I suddenly thought, they're going to go, and I'm now left, and I'm going to have, nothing to do. I'm going to have the empty nest syndrome times a billion, because I hadn't anything for myself. So I kind of looked about, and I then enrolled in like a photography business mentorship that was down south. It was in the Lake District, and it was for a year,
Right.
and it was expensive. And I kind of thought, this is for me. This is going to be, it's expensive enough that it's going to make me do it, and it's going to make me stick in. And I need to do something for myself. I need to do something creative. I need to do something that's just going to give me not a purpose, but that way, like, it's different when your children are small, but when they're older, it's all just a wee bit kind of, you're just dropping off and
Yeah.
things like that. In fact, my daughter's just joined.
I was waiting to say, is Bethan, is that your...
That's my daughter. She's in London. I just needed to do something for myself. So I enrolled in this, and it was fantastic. There was like maybe 14 of us that were, we met every couple of months. You had a mentor call every 2 weeks. I was the oldest. I was 46 when I started the course, and then I started the business kind of a few months after that. So that's really how it came about. I started off just doing family photography. That was where I came into the business.
Yeah, yeah, I remember because I think when we sort of initially met, I think you were just sort of getting into the whole like pivoting
Yeah.
almost and more into brand. So what was your mission at the outset then when you specifically when you started to pivot more towards the brand side of things?
So the when I started with the families, I thought I did love doing families, and I loved the fact, obviously, as a mum and as a mum of teenagers, I had seen every stage, I had seen every tantrum, I'd seen, nothing fazed me, nothing, and I did enjoy it. And I just kind of started. So with families, you're working weekends and you're working in the evenings, because well, not so much now. Nobody's out at work now, you could do it anytime. But
Yeah.
weekends were the kind of the core time, so my weekends were taken up with the photography, and during the week it kind of was unbalanced, imbalanced, unbalanced, whatever, not balanced.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
wanted to kind of try and find something that was going to be more week based, and also the brand photography just made a whole lot more sense to me. It was to me, it's exactly the same story. You're telling a family story, or you're telling a business's, a business owner's story as well. It's the same thing. And the style of my photography kind of lent itself to that, because it is very storytelling rather than just kind
Yeah.
of, I don't have a studio, I don't have lights, I don't have anything that's so I don't have the whole kind of stiff structured photographs. It's all very fluid and very natural and very relaxed. So it seemed to flow. So I did work the two of them in tandem, but then I was just
Yeah.
enjoying the brand one so much more than the
It's so
family.
important. It's like what you say, a lot of people in business and corporate especially, it's that 1980s headshot mentality of, and sometimes you think they're being off cuff by maybe changing the background or maybe turn slightly to the sides, aren't we all new age? And it's like, it's still a bit like it doesn't say anything about you.
Nothing.
So nothing.
It tells
nothing.
you, it literally, it would make you go, that's nice, or I don't know, nice pair of glasses, or it tells you nothing about what
Yeah.
you do or how you do it or anything like that. So
Yeah.
I much prefer. So that was why, and I think it was last year. Last year I was trying to kind of balance them, and then I was doing more branding than family, and then I've cut families out. Not my
Quite
own,
right.
not my own family, although I would.
No.
I'm seriously considering that one too.
Yeah. Well, Bethan's not listening.
She'll understand.
So with that then, was there any sort of self-doubt, especially at the start when you decided, I mean, completely new to you, coming away from being an accountant, that's all you've ever known. I mean, it's quite a different,
Totally.
it's not even remotely related.
No, no, there's nothing.
What was going on there, self-doubt wise? Like,
Oh,
what?
huge self-doubt,
Yeah.
because not only was I an accountant, I was a pretty rubbish accountant as well. But not only was I an accountant, there was a 23-year gap. No, 17. He's 24 now. There was a 17-year gap of me literally not working. So my confidence I had, it was all kind of like, it was all the what ifs. What if I don't do it? What if I don't succeed? What will people think? That was a big one. I was a really kind of conscious, will people think, who's she and why is she doing that? And so there was a whole lot of, I would say staying at home with your children is the best job in the whole wide world, but it can dent your confidence, and it can kind of make you feel that you're worthless is too strong a word, but I can't think, that you just don't have anything to offer. I used to say to people when I met them, I'm just a mum. If they asked me what I did, I used to say I'm just a mum. Gee, I'm sure lots of people now that have had to do all the homeschooling, whatever, kind of see that it's, you're never just a mum. But that was the whole kind of confidence was not good. But I think because the course or the kind of mentorship was expensive enough that I would never think of not carrying on with it. That kind of.
Well, I'm glad that you did.
I'm very glad I did too. But that kind of way, like, had it been, I don't know, a couple of £100 or something like that, you might have hit a kind of a hard,
hit the first hurdle and given up.
I just kind of thought, oh, well, I knew I wouldn't be good at that anyway, kind of thing. Whereas they were there pushing you, and actually being the oldest, I quite liked that. It was kind of, I've ended up with two of the girls. One is 29, one is 39, one's just had a baby, one's just about to have a baby. That kind of completely different stages. I'm old enough to be both their mums. But it's just been so nice, and we've kind of, helped each other, and it's been the best thing I've ever, that course was the best thing that ever, just even confidence wise,
Yeah, confidence is huge, and I think you've picked up on an excellent point there when you said, like you say, you were just a mum.
Hmm.
It's funny how we wear these titles, whether it is, stay-at-home mum, or whether it is, your position in corporate world, career, if you're, your job title. It's funny how it's like we hold on to that as if like that's our identity. And I think that when it comes to taking those steps, that and the whole thing about what people think becomes this big, massive,
It's huge and
unnecessary.
totally unnecessary because the amazing thing is like other people that were like just mums like me,
Mm,
they were going, oh my God, good for you, well done. I wish I could find something that I loved. And, it was that kind of, whereas I thought they would be judging you and kind of, what's she doing now? That kind of stop your nonsense.
yeah, I think if you can get over that whole thing about what people think, you can achieve so much more
So, I mean,
if
because
you drop
really
that.
nobody is, so everybody's more interested in themselves anyway. Nobody's
Yeah,
looking at you. But but
100%.
until you realize that, you kind of think
Yeah.
everybody, oh my God, everything you think I'm not that important. Nobody cares what I'm doing.
Yeah, it is. It's so true, isn't it? It really is true. I love that Sarah Knight book. I think it's like, so I've got it in my book cabinet. There's like learn the subtle art of not giving a
Yeah,
F or whatever it's called. And it just was a light bulb moment for
yeah,
me. And it was almost like I read that book and instantly I just didn't care
no,
anymore.
no, and
And
I
it
don't,
was,
I don't
yeah.
know if it is an age thing as well. I'm sure it is that you
Mm,
kind of end up thinking, I really don't. And now in my
yeah.
50s, I really, I really don't care. But maybe it is an age thing, and it was just, the confidence. But I had always wanted to do something creative. But when I
Yeah.
was at school, you didn't get any advice, careers advice.
This comes up time and time again, and it's something that I absolutely wholly agree with, is that when you go through school, and even from primary school right the way through, and obviously there's like an age gap, like I'm 30, 39, 38, 39, I can't remember what age I am. And so even when I was at school, it's like setting up your own business wasn't talked about. It was all like, are you going to college? Are
Yeah,
you going to university? Are you going for an apprenticeship?
yeah.
What are you going to be? There was never setting up a business, never.
No,
And it's crazy because then when like I got made redundant, and again you lose that title. You're like, oh, I was like global marketing manager. It's like, oh, as if it was like your identity or something like that. It doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? And
it's
I set up a business very quickly, and it's just like it's just crazy. And I hope now my kids being at primary school, I hope that when they get to that sort of point at secondary school, that starting up your business is something they cover as much as they push college and
oh,
university as well.
but you think now, like, well, even when our two were, when the Ed and Beth and our two older ones were at school, I mean, the careers advice they got was incredible. It was all these psychometric testing, and look at this, and career people coming in, and different careers, and there were entrepreneurs that would come in and kind of show what it would be
Really
like. Yeah,
excellent.
which is a great thing. I mean, the school they went to, they wanted you to be the doctor, the lawyer, the accountant, but they did show that there were other avenues to go down, which I
Yeah.
think, and I don't know now. I mean, I don't think a university degree is it? What is? I mean,
I don't
it
think
gives you
so.
4 years of fun.
Yeah. Well,
Well, do you know what I mean? It
depends.
depends. It depends which, how you do it, but it doesn't.
Not right now anyway.
No, oh God, no, nobody's having any fun. But I just don't think it's necessary. I think it's a whole lot more, do something. Well, I always say to the children, just do
It's
something
more
you love.
theory, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's more theory.
yeah. Or,
Different, obviously, if you're going to be a vet, a
oh,
doctor,
yeah, yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
you
yeah.
need to
Go on.
have that stuff, right? It's like, but for what I do, I mean, I've got a university degree, and I only because I went through the motions. It was a highly pushed. Um,
So what's
could
your
I still be
what's your
doing what I
degree?
do
What's
without
your
it?
degree in?
It's business studies and marketing.
Okay.
So there's no reason I couldn't be doing what I'm doing without it. In fact, I know that I've been coached by people who don't have degrees
I
who are
know.
coaching me in how to run a business. So it's like, it just goes to show experience definitely, stands for a lot more in some of these industries. So yeah, I know.
It is a weird one. But creatively, I always wanted to do something, but I was good at maths,
Yeah,
and so obviously I was going to be an accountant. That
yeah.
you're good with numbers, and you're good with, so that's your thing. And I hated it.
Oh,
Absolutely.
bless.
I
See, I noticed that I didn't like accounts just as I was away to, because I was away to go and do accounts
Oh,
at
really?
university. I
No.
did the standard grade, the higher, the 6 year study, and it was only because I did the 6 year study, and that's when the theory crept in,
Right, okay.
and I was like, oh.
Oh, see, I hadn't done any of that. I like literally when I went into first year, I hadn't done any accountancy. I just thought accountancy was kind of like adding up the money. I didn't realize there was
Yeah. Oh,
balance
look, it
sheets in it.
balances. That's nice. Yeah.
Although I do like underlining things, that kind of, I used to
I
love
like
that.
the nice paper that you got, the
Yes,
nice paper with the.
yes, I liked all that. And I used to love that, like in your maths higher. Remember, you used to start with an equation, and it was like left hand side, and you'd work it out, and then you'd be like, equals right hand side, and you'd be like, yes,
Yeah.
I did like that. That was that kind of,
Creative in a way, though.
well, creative accounting, there's always that as well, isn't there? But yeah,
That means a
no,
whole different
that's a
thing.
whole different thing. And no, I got out of that, but no, yeah,
That's fascinating. I love that. Absolutely love it. One thing that I admire about you was how you managed to take lockdown. Obviously, lockdown for you in your industry was like an instant light
yeah,
switch, but you very quickly managed to sort of think of things that you could do. So, your virtual photo shoots, the master classes, the courses,
yeah,
which I think is just genius. And again, it just goes to show, strength, entrepreneurship, when a lot of us were running for the cave, you were still stacking up stuff and creating things that even now as we come out of lockdown are going to actually stand you in great stead.
well, I think initially, obviously, you just think, oh well, I'm not going to photograph for ages, which I did photograph in, I think, September, October. I did August, up till about September, October,
Mm-hmm.
and then obviously we were done again. Um, But initially, what I did was I just set up a Facebook group, and I used to give like a daily challenge, just
Mm-hmm.
like a word, and that wasn't even for business owners or anything. That was just a kind of, and that was good for me because it gave me a focus each day. Because initially everybody was kind of like, "What the hell is this? I don't know what we're supposed to be doing." So that was kind of, and then you started to think, okay, so I wanted to be seen as the kind of helpful photographer, the kind of, I'll show you how to do it yourself. I'll show you how to, the tips and tricks, and even if you do one thing. And then this virtual photography came along, and you just thought, can't really work, can it? But it does. And I think it's going to be here to stay. It's going to be that you can top up your photographs, if you have a shoot, and then you can just kind of add on a kind of virtual one as a kind of, you're doing something
Yeah.
else, something new, and you just need a quick,
Mm-hmm.
because it
Top up.
is the most bizarre thing. I feel like the laziest photographer in the world because I'm literally just sitting at my laptop. I've got my cup of tea, and I'm literally just going, no, just move a wee bit, just.
Like a director.
And the thing is as well, which is weird, is they can't see me, so it's just a
Of
voice.
course.
So
Yeah.
they're just listening to me. So I'll say, move to your right, no, the other right, because that way you're kind of like, which way
Yeah.
is it?
Which way? The
Yeah,
reverse.
but I think it's definitely going to be here, going to stay. It's going to be an add-on. And then with the class, I've done a couple of master classes, again, just showing people, how light angles, how to sit, because everybody, if you get a bad photograph of yourself,
Yeah.
it's such a shocker. You kind of think, gee, do I look like that? How do I end up looking? How do I end up looking like my gran? How do I end up? I've put 3 stone on since this morning, or that kind of. And it is just, you think, oh no. And then you just show somebody how, and they think, well, that was easy, And you think people go, oh, I hate getting my picture taken, and you think, no wonder. No wonder. It's like all these people on, you see them at news at 10, you know, that are hanging over their Zoom, you know, or
Oh gosh, I know exactly what you mean.
stop. Why are you doing that? Just turn the
Right
light
up the
off.
nose.
They're literally, everything's hanging down, and you think, have you not can you see yourself? And you're on national television, or you're on, you know, Good Morning Britain or whatever it is, and you think, just stop. I mean, I know it's not the be all and end all, but
What was it I was watching last night? It was some DNA journey thing with Freddie Flintoff and what's the footballer that married Louise Redknapp.
Redknapp, yeah, Jamie
And it was
Redknapp.
them two, and they were sitting in a pie and mash shop, and they were on a Zoom call with Redknapp's parents, Harry and whatever, Sandra.
Yeah, well
So
remembered.
they were on an iPad and they had it landscape, but Freddie and what's his chops were sitting side by side, portrait, trying to squeeze into the thing, and it's like, and it's like, how many people are filming them doing this, and not one
Nobody
person said.
no, it's the most bizarre kind of, and we've had a year of this. Surely somebody has said, just turn it round, or just lift it up a wee bit and you'll look a whole lot better. Or get a ring light. They only cost £20. You know,
Yes.
get a ring light, go to your window. Anything that's going to, no, they're still hanging over these things, and you think, oh Lord. Or they,
I do love having a look in the background though, and being like, oh, what's in the wallpaper and
yeah, I love that. But I mean, you want
or
to
the
look.
cats and the birds and the.
I saw somebody that, remember the guy that did the interview years ago, and his child came in, and they were saying, God, if that happened now, they'd just be like, oh, could you get out? Nobody would even bother, would they? Because everybody's working from home. It wouldn't even be a thing.
Oh, you've never seen anybody move so quick as that guy when he realised, oh, it was the best thing ever, now.
That was the best.
Oh.
That was the
But
best.
no, it's so true what you say about the angles. And actually, something I saw on TikTok last night that's obviously starting to do the rounds, it's a new trend or whatever, is this one particular camera angle. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's basically like you must have your phone on the floor looking right up at your chin, and you put your hands in the air, like right up, and wave your arms, and it literally looks like you've got like these tiny wee arms or something.
On massive feet, massive, like everything's big.
Folk are like, isn't this the funniest angle ever? You know, it's just like, I'll have to find it and send it to you, because I was like, you must do that in your next.
I must have a look at a TikTok. I kind of yeah.
Everything always starts over there, doesn't it? Then filters over
yes,
to
absolutely. I must have a look at that. But then that's just the thing, is like whatever is nearest the camera is the biggest. So that would be the legs, and then it's like if you sit at a bad angle, you could be all thighs, all boobs, and then you've got a wee tiny head. You know, like you've got a wee bobblehead. It's the same thing. It's just whatever's nearest the camera.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll have a look at that one though.
Yeah. Well, talking of social media, it's like, how would you say that social media has really helped your business over the years?
Hugely, hugely. With my families, I literally started it, and I went onto a local Facebook group, and I just said, this is what I'm doing, and I'm looking for 5 families to help me. You know, you'll get them complimentary, and just let me use them for my marketing. So that was straight away. That was before I had a website or anything. So then I've just built this up. I've just built that up. I've got quite a good following on Facebook. It tends to be more family based. I used to do a live every Friday on my Facebook, and I used to be out with Graham, and people used to say hello to me, and I'd be like, oh hi, and who's that? I have absolutely no idea. A couple of people used to say to me, are you that photographer? I am a photographer. I don't think I'm that photographer, but you know, so it really was good for that. You were kind of, and it was all word of mouth, and that was fantastic. I now post on Facebook, but I now concentrate solely on Instagram for my personal branding. I just feel it's kind of a bit more where my clients are, and it's obviously such a visual platform. So
definitely.
It just is suited to my to my business. I think I do think, but I think social media. I've got a website. I hate to say it, but I don't
Yeah.
really do very much. And should I say that out loud? I don't know if I should. I don't know if I should,
Who
but
knows? Websites could be the beginning of the end, couldn't they? So
I think, yes,
potentially.
I think I'll say that out loud that I don't do much with it, but I know I should do more with it. But social media for me, which probably is not good, because if anything happened, how they always say don't put all your eggs in one basket and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to grow my email list. I try to do everything, but
Oh, like everybody, it's like, oh, shiny new thing,
oh,
Clubhouse is on the go.
I've not done that. Have you done that? Have you?
You're talking to the person
Oh,
who, obviously, me,
yeah,
Auntie
you're not
Apple. I
Apple,
don't do
yeah.
Apple. I had to go and buy a flipping iPhone just to get a shot of Clubhouse.
And what did you think?
I used it once. That's it. So I've got a brand new iPhone sitting on my desk.
And
No battery.
were you hosting it, or were you a guest, or were you on it,
I
or?
just I just went in and had a wee look just to see what it was about, and I was like, not for me.
No, I
Um,
don't really get it.
mm, I'm more a visual
Yes.
person. I'm more a video person. Nah.
No, it's
Not
not.
for me.
No,
I can see the purpose. I can see the beauty of it, but
but
so I'm just adjusting my Harry Styles cushion
oh,
instead.
I was going to say it's Wednesday, isn't it? But it's not. It's Thursday. It's
Thursday.
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 I feel it's kind of anytime I've gone on it, I feel it's just a lot of experts all kind of vying to, hands up, and they want to speak. But I've never been on one that seems to be quite well organized, or that kind of.
I like to consume, as a consumer of content, I like to consume content that requires not my full attention. And
Yes.
I kind of feel with that, you really need to be listening. It's not like a podcast. A
No.
podcast, you could like stick your headphones and still work. That's like, it's like you have to really be there. Like you have to be paying full attention to get it. And that's quite time consuming.
And I wonder if, like, what do people get out of it? Because I've never clicked on
People seem to
anybody's
get
name,
loads.
or,
Yeah.
and obviously it's not recorded, so it's there and then it's gone.
Yeah, and I think what a lot of people are getting out of it, it's that stereotypical new platform, new algorithm, opportunity to be the Zoella, or the first YouTuber,
Yeah.
and so you do get that chance is there, right? But then everyone's trying for that, it's not just you, it's everyone, so it becomes quite like
I know.
busy, I find, and quite intense. And so a lot of people are saying, they've done it, and then a lot of people have then got followers on Instagram off the back of it,
Okay.
or gotten work out of it, made good connections out of it. I think it has a purpose, but it does require a certain level of attention.
Yeah. Well, it's just, I kind of, I know I can't do all social media. I mean, the last month or something, I kind of thought, well, I really should be on LinkedIn, and I kind of dabbled in it, and then I just thought, I can't do, because it's kind of like,
Yeah.
oh, I've not posted on LinkedIn, and I don't really get LinkedIn, and I don't understand,
Yeah.
the whole connections and viewing profiles. I didn't realize that if you viewed somebody's profile, they can see that you've viewed their profile. I don't want to tell
What,
you
you
whose
stalking
profile.
me?
No, I shouldn't really say this out loud, but I did look at people I went to school with, and somebody then
My
messaged
first boyfriend.
me and said, "See, you've been looking at my profile." Oh, I was like, "Oh God." And of course, Bethan was just like, "I told you," and I was like, "I know, but I forgot. How do you remember these things?" So and
Oh
then I've
no.
just decided that it's just I can't do it all, and I'd just be. So I'm
Oh,
focusing on Instagram,
yeah.
and I kind of keep Facebook ticking over, but it's quite hard to change that audience that was very family based
Uh-huh.
onto the brand, so I don't have as much engagement. I don't, there's not as many conversations going, because I built it up as kind of family photography, and it was very much like that. So I need to kind of try and build that up again.
Gently
Yes.
turn that ship round.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's proving quite tricky. Whereas my Instagram recently as well has just kind of, I don't know, I got past my 1,000 followers, which was, you know, that way it's a target and you're getting there, and then you've got 5 to go, and then somebody unfollows you and you're going, But I've kind of got past the 1,000, and now it's like every day I'm getting a good few. I think in the
They
last,
always say, don't they, with anything, the first
yeah,
1,000, the first $1,000 you want to make, the first 1,000 followers is always the
yeah,
hardest. It's then the
yeah,
momentum
and
that
then it
carries
kind
you
of, yeah,
forward.
you know that way you keep going, God, I've got even more followers. This is fantastic, and I don't even need to check if people are unfollowing me then.
Yeah. That's up there with learning not to give a F about what people think, learning
Exactly.
not to care
I
if
know
people have
but
unfollowed.
you know that way you were like I was at like 9. I think I was at 996, and then I'd get to 998, and I was like, oh, I'm nearly there. Then I was at 995, and then I was at, just
Oh,
stop.
yeah, it is. It's dire. It's absolutely dire.
And it obviously makes absolutely no difference, to have 995 or 8. None of it makes any difference. But
It's funny that we all know that it doesn't matter, but we all still like it, right?
yeah, so like, yeah, I've got 1,000 now, which means nothing. Which means I was going to start saying to people, oh yes, swipe up. Oh no, that's 10,000.
10,000. Mm.
That just seems
Seems like such a far way away.
doesn't it? It just seems impossible. It just seems pie in the sky,
Oh,
but you never know. You never know.
yeah. Yeah. No, it's crazy. So if you went right back to the very start, that whole like being a mom, would you do it differently? Would you maybe go back to accounting? Would you just decide to just like stay at home? Would you change anything?
So what I would do was, so I didn't go to uni. I went to it was like a local, it wasn't a local college, but it's now a uni. It's now called Caledonian, Glasgow Caledonian.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's it.
So when I was there, it was Glasgow Tech. So I was 1 point short to get to uni. And like, why did I not pick up a phone? Why did I not do, that kind of, because I didn't really enjoy college, and I always felt I kind of missed out the whole uni. So I would change that, but I wouldn't do accountancy. In fact, would I go? I don't even know if would I have gone. Probably would have gone for the fun bit, but I wouldn't have done accountancy. Knowing now, no chance. I always wanted to be a hairdresser, always, and
Oh,
still I love watching people getting their hair cut. See, like, you wouldn't think that I ever get my hair colored, but see, if you're in the hairdressers and you're there for a couple of hours and you can see people's oh my God, I could just sit. Do you want a magazine? No, I want to sit and watch other people, you
do
know.
you really?
Oh, I absolutely, I just
You'd
think
have loved my childhood because my mum was a hairdresser, and
oh,
so every weekend, every school holiday, I distinctly remember sitting in the hairdressers. I mean, she was like a blue rinse and perm hairdresser, so she was
still.
like an old woman's, yeah. And it was literally that was my summer holidays, was sitting with a magazine. There was a newsagent next door, and you used to be able to get 5p and 10p bags of crisps
Fantastic.
and
Like
a tin of mix
Space
up.
Raiders or something like that. Space.
Yes, yes. And that was my summer holidays. I can still to this day remember smelling the permanent
I was going
lotion
to
and the
say that
wee
you can,
bits of paper
and were they
that you
sitting under those like dryers?
yes.
Oh,
But you'd have loved that. You'd have been like, screw the magazine, I'll just watch.
like my mom used to say, run up the stairs and get the brush, and I used to sit and I'd have like my legs round her, and I just sit and brush her hair at night. And
Oh.
I always want, and still, I think I'm 53. I think I'm really past it. I'd be the oldest, but always wanted to do something creative, and I would definitely go down that kind of photography, interior design, something like that, rather than no accounting. I mean, honestly, I was rubbish. I was seriously rubbish because I was so disinterested in it.
Yeah.
It didn't hold. I used to go into meetings and I would just wouldn't listen, and then they'd say, and Gerri, and I'd think,
Gotta fluff out some corporate answer.
Yeah. Some absolute nonsense. So no, I would do that differently. I wouldn't do. Would I stay at home? Yes, I think I probably would. I think I probably would because I've got three beautiful, well-rounded children that, you know, we had a lot of fun together. It was, you know, no, I think, and people think your school days are so long, as in like the actual physical day, but it's not.
It's not. It
No,
flies by.
you fly by, and Will, who's my youngest, was obviously at a different school, so you would take, drop him off, and you would drop the two older ones off, drop him off, then you would do whatever, and then before you knew it was like 2 o'clock, and they were coming back at 3 or half 3, and then it was all your
Yeah.
the
By the time you make the beds and do a bit of tidying up and have your
the
lunch.
shops, do the thing, make the dinner, do all that. And I was never a kind of coffee morning, sit and have a coffee morning. I never did any of that, apart from most of my friends did work.
Yeah.
But I never did that whole. I never sat about. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't as if I was kind of just sitting about reading magazines, and so I think I would
Yeah.
do it again. But maybe I wouldn't. Maybe once they started secondary school, I would have kind of started to look for something for
Yeah.
myself.
And your son, he's started up a business as well, hasn't he?
in lockdown. In lockdown. So yeah, so
Brave.
I know. So we started Will and Friends so Will obviously has Down syndrome, and he's 20, he's 21 next month, and he's at college, so he's got one more year at college, but then so East End where we are, they've got he went to an amazing school, and then they've got college, and they've got amazing support up until college, and then once you leave college, that's it.
You're on your own.
You're on your own. There's nothing. Unless you want him to go to a day centre, which I don't, because he's much more capable than than that. I want to push him. He's been pushed all his life
Yeah.
by school and whatever. So yeah. So we have a dog food delivery business called Will and
That's brilliant.
Friends, and hopefully, obviously, we started it in June last year, and it's going to be him. Initially, it's going to be him and his friend Alex, but they can't get together. They've not been able to
Oh,
actually. I've taken their photographs in the garden, but they had to be socially distanced. They've had interviews. They've been interviewed for newspapers and stuff like that. But again, sitting at different ends of the table, and they've actually not been able to sit in a car together and do anything. So my hope is that we can employ Alex, we can employ other people as well, and it gives them all, they can all stay together as friends, as a friendship group. There's a purpose to their employment, and they that they build confidence, and then they're part of the community. That's the kind of
there's a company in Aberdeen, similar idea. I must look up their name and send it to you. I think it was something to do with bacon, so like
right.
bread or something like that. And they would deliver lunches and stuff like that to workplaces and stuff. I must look that up
Yeah,
and send it
please
to you.
do.
But it's
That would be
similar kind
good.
of concept.
Uh-huh.
And they've done exceptionally well out of it. So yeah, no, definitely will work.
Yeah, no, I mean, we've had amazing support from the local community just now. And like, you post something on his Facebook or on Will and Friends Facebook group, and it gets shared. It's like people are just so willing to
Supportive and
support it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
definitely. So we need to push it more now, because coming out of lockdown, we want to get Alex involved. But Will enjoys telling Alex he's the boss.
Quite right.
If
He can make
anybody
whatever title he wants, CEO.
exactly, if anybody mentions, I'm, something about I'm the boss, I'm the boss. Like, okay, let's. But it's, do you know, like, even throughout all this, we'll be like, well, we've got deliveries to do, and he goes and he's got a Will and Friends sweatshirt, and he goes and gets that on, and we go in the car, and so it's great, and it's going to be
So was
even.
that your idea? Was that his idea?
No,
Was it a
no,
bit of
it
both?
definitely was not his idea. His idea of heaven would be just sitting in front of his computer on YouTube. So
Oh yeah.
it was actually my sister's idea. There was a local business that did the exact same thing, and he did it for a charity. He was registered blind. This man was registered blind, and he did the same sort of thing, but he was then stopping this business. So we didn't buy his business, we didn't do anything like that, but we just kind of picked up the idea and then went with it. So it was my sister. My sister's full of great ideas and tells you how to do that. So because anything I'll say, and she'll say, "Oh, that was a great idea of mine, wasn't it?" Yeah, but actually, it really was a great idea, and it'll be. I feel like we only do dog food, but you know, we can do cat food, we can do, you know, dog related items, or we've got a lot of scope. We've got scope.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, I'm sure you can't wait to get your brand and photography skills dusted off.
Poor Will, every time we do something, I'm like, whoa, wait, do it again. Take the bag out the car, take it back in the car, take it back, just do it. But yeah, I mean,
that'll do it, yeah.
There's so much you could do, and we've got a website and it's lovely, and so yeah, no. We at least need a photographer that could do it for him, and I didn't charge. Should have actually never thought of that one.
Yeah, charge him for it.
Absolutely.
So, at what point did you have that moment when you were like, "This is working with the photography," where you were like, "This has actually worked"? You know, obviously you start these things and you never quite realize where it's going to go, and there's always this moment.
I think obviously when I put myself out there and asked for people to help me, and there were so many people. There were so many people volunteering. It was free, so you kind of can't take that as any kind of guide. But when they got their photographs and then they were, you know, sharing them, and then straight away I was then getting people contacting me, and I was thinking, this is going to work. But then you have that horrible, well, now I have to charge. You know, and you're almost apologizing. You're like, oh, I'm really sorry. There's some amount, and when I think back to what it was, I mean, I was charging nothing, but it still felt like a lot, kind of. So I think it was when people were actually paying for my service, and when I told them the price, they didn't say, "Oh no, it wasn't that kind of." So I think it was then. So it was maybe, I mean, it didn't happen straight away. It was maybe a couple of years in, you know, just building up to it. I just kind of slowly built it up, and then you see, and I still get it here, you know, on these local Facebook groups or whatever, people recommending you, you know, if somebody will say, I'm looking for a family photographer, and people will say, oh, it's Gerri Campbell. You want Gerri Campbell's who you want, or something. And just seeing that, you just think, that's so nice. You know, obviously it's not just my name, but there are others. But it's, you know, sometimes and somebody will say, well, I guess it has to be Gerri Campbell, because it just depends which post, you know. But there'll be like Gerri Campbell, and you think, that's nice.
You're sitting there like, oh.
Yeah, I'm good. But I think when you know, you obviously see the results of your photographs, and you think, you know, you can see them and you think, oh, I love these, but you still have that feeling, thinking, are they going to love them just because I love them? You know, I could see a photograph of myself and think, oh, I hate that because I hate my nose, or, you know, anything. Whereas I'm not looking at that. When I'm looking at them as a, you know, as a family and as a moment and as a connection kind of thing. So you always have this worry, are they going to like them? But then as my confidence built doing more photographs of families, I knew that they would like it.
Yeah.
You know, they weren't, because they weren't posed, and they weren't kind of stiff, and it was all laughing and cuddling. And
it's the kind of photos that you just can't take yourself. No. Like, you just can't. You can drive, but you just can't.
Well, you can, but there's always somebody missing, because there's somebody taking the picture, and it's always, well, 9 times out of 10 it's the mum. And that was my whole big thing. My thing was always get in the blinking photo. And that was, we had our own shoot. So Ed, was he going to Edinburgh? I can't remember. Or was going, No, he was going to North Carolina for a year to go to uni for a year, and a photographer was coming up from England, and I said to her, "Could you do our photographs?" And only because I had never had ours done, and only it was because Bethan said to me, "If anything happens to you, it's as if you don't exist."
Yeah.
Because I wasn't, and that's why we can't see. So I've got photos there behind me,
Oh.
and the photographer said, so tell me what it is you want, and I said, okay, it's all about me. I want to be, I want to be in every single photo and so there's one of like Graham and I. There's one with me with each of the children. There's ones, and we're on the beach, and we started off in the house. It went on really long. It was 3 hours long, and it was really, really long. But we now have photographs, so I do. And now I'm happy to, I'll set up a timer. During lockdown, I set up the timer, and I did our own doorstep shoot. I did doorstep shoots during lockdown as well. I forgot about that one. So I did I'm pointing there as if you can see the photograph. I set up the timer, I put my camera on it, and I was just like, right, we're getting ones done. I'm not having everybody else having doorstep shoots, and we don't have our own photographs.
I must admit that's something that I no longer do. Like I used to have like a Scottish family living, like a blog and a YouTube channel and all that. And one of the things that I posted about in the blog every month, there was something like called Me and Mine, and it was almost like a series. There was loads of family bloggers did it, and it forced you to take a family photograph, like you say, set the timer up.
Yeah.
And it was always a pain in the backside, right? Because
Yeah.
it was babies, right? And somebody was not looking, somebody was crying, nightmare. But at least at the end of the year, I had 12 photos with all of us in them. And I've never done it since. And I do photo books at the end of the year, and I'm in none of them. None of them. And it's just, that is exactly what you say.
Because one a month is so doable. So
it
doable.
Is.
I'm just see, because I then was taking lots of photographs during lockdown because Ed and Bethan were home, and you had this time. You're never going to get this again. Never, the five of us together. And for their Christmas, I made each of them a lockdown photograph, and it was things like they dyed Will's hair blonde. So it was his hair blonde. It was Ed learned how to do a cartwheel in the back garden. It was, things like Graham painted everything. if it was in the garden, he painted, that kind of, and it just, we'll have it forever. We'll have this story of our lockdown kind of story. But I'm very much now aware that I need to be in family photographs. So if we're all together, I'm like, right, okay, let's get in the photograph.
I'm setting a timer.
Yeah, but I did it before because we used to sit down at lockdown. We used to sit down every night and have our dinner 7 o'clock at the table every night. And on our last night, I set up the timer, and I was like, I want a photograph of us all sitting. And they're just like, and I've got the wee, timer button, the wee thing, and they're like,
yeah.
And I said, but you want to look back on this? This was what we did. I think stories are so important for families, for business, for everything.
It is. It really is. What is it they say? A photo tells 1,000 words or whatever. Yeah, absolutely. It does. It does. Have you ever got to a point in your business where you've outsourced anything? Still doing a lot yourself? You're still doing your own accounts?
I'm the one that on the 30th of January that's trying to get my tax return. Yeah, that's me. And I'm not joking. Yes, I do my own accounts. I have what would you call it? Like a kind of software thing that I just
like QuickBooks or something, or Xero or whatever.
It's called Light Blue. It's specifically for photographers, so it keeps all your shoots, all your invoices, everything. So actually, you can just run it from that. So that's. But I did once have a VA, but I was so disorganized that it was just
didn't work.
No, it didn't work. I would love to have somebody that would do the whole tech side. I'm really rubbish at, doing like today. I'm trying to do like a sales page and connecting it all up. Oh, honestly, I need to write down what I did the last time because I don't remember, and then I would just waste so much time trying to connect all that. And I would just love somebody that would do that for me, show me how to do it, or just that I could say, could you do this for me? That would be my idea of heaven.
Heaven.
Yeah. I don't really want anybody to do my social media or anything like that, because I do quite like doing that, and I do think that's quite personal,
It is. Yeah.
to try and get your
I
own
do think that,
voice.
yeah, you need to keep even if you've got someone doing some of your scheduling or whatever, you do need to keep a sort of leg in with the social media so you know what's happening.
Yeah, I think,
100%.
yeah. So the only thing I would like, yeah, I would like somebody to, I'm looking at my desk here, I would like somebody to organize me. I would like somebody to kind of say, today you're doing this, and I think, great. Because as you know, I'm a winger, I'm a kind of, what will I do today? Kind of, I just, I am my own worst enemy. I don't know how I was an accountant, because I would imagine accountants are, lists and ticking off.
How many tax returns did you have to do on the 30th of January when you were an accountant?
Thankfully, I was a management accountant, so that's an
Oh,
industry. So that's an industry. You're not. No, you're not. Oh God, no. No, I wouldn't have. But yeah, I think somebody to kind of set me
get
up,
you
and
sorted.
yeah, somebody to cooks and crafts. Love it. Glad someone else works. I don't know if I'd advise it though. And when I say that, people say, "No, you are organized." I think, oh, really. I really haven't. I really and like my daughter, when she was home there, she was saying, if do you not put lists or put things in your diary? No.
Yeah, finding a system that works for you can sometimes be difficult. Some people prefer paper, some people prefer digital. I couldn't live without Trello, and everyone's different. Some people can't live without Asana. Once it clicks and it makes sense. But for some people it's post-it notes.
Well, but the thing is, I've got paper everywhere. I've also got a Trello board, but I forget to go into the Trello board.
What's the first thing I look
See,
at, when I switch a computer on?
right. So I've just not quite got I've not got to
So the
that
habit.
stage. Yeah, I've not got into the habit of doing that. So I need to just like force myself, and then I would do it. Yeah.
Because what do you do when you switch on your computer? Do you instantly open your emails?
Yes.
So instantly open your Trello board at the same time. That's what I
Okay,
do to
okay,
keep you.
okay, okay. Right, I'll do that.
First I go. First I go. I've got a couple more questions and then we're going to go into a quick fire. So if
Okay,
anyone's
okay.
watching this has any questions, pop them in the comments. We'll get to them at the end. I've got some that have already been sent in beforehand. What piece of advice would you have for someone who's just starting out? You know, that kind of awkward stage where it's like, well, I won't.
Um, I would say one thing is just do it. But obviously kind of not test the market, but well, I did test the market by saying I'm looking to do this, and if you want to, you have to see that somebody wants what you're offering, I think, before you
Mhm.
kind of invest in. And a lot of people do things back to front. They'll get their website done, they'll get their branding done, they'll get their photography done, they'll get everything done, but they actually don't know if people want what they're offering. So
Mm.
I think I would definitely feel like, well,
Guilty.
it's worked out for you though, hasn't it?
Yeah.
But you had experience in that field, if you know what I mean. You knew what you were doing. It's not as if you were just suddenly, I don't know, selling.
But for me, distraction technique, because marketing background, oh, I'll just pretty around with that website for ages. I'll just pretty around with my branding for ages. Distraction
Oh
techniques that
yeah,
actually then take the first step, it's
it's a wee bit like,
all the
remember
excuses.
when you were studying, and every day you would make a new study plan.
I'll just spend 20 minutes
Yeah,
rewriting
I'll
it,
just,
yeah.
I'll just, and I'll put more color on it, and then I know exactly what I'm doing tomorrow. And then you'd be like, well, that's me. I'm done for today, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, I do think working for yourself is a great thing. I would try and make lots of connections and relationships and friendships, and the number of people. I mean, I've never met you physically,
Mm,
but I feel like I know you. But we met on Instagram. I've met lots of
yeah.
people on Instagram. I've met lots of people, on online networking, things that I haven't met, but I could call upon. I feel like I could, you know, ask them a question about something that I'm struggling with. So I think surrounding yourself with people that will help you, or just to have a bit of a chat with, or that kind of thing. It can be lonely.
Yeah.
It can be lonely, and I think to not expect too much too soon. Like I'm starting a business, and I'm going to be, you see all these pictures of people working from their laptops on the beach.
6-figure months.
Yeah, 6-figure months in 6 weeks, not a problem. You'll be fine. Nah, I think be realistic is probably be, and it's not linear in any way. It's a lot of ups and downs, but
Absolutely.
worth it.
Yes, definitely, definitely. So what businesses do you look up to then for inspiration?
Oof.
Any photography businesses or just other businesses in general, interior design?
Well, I can't think of one specific ones as in, but I love watching. I like watching people like you in the sense of that have that I don't know if you do have, but look like they've got their act together, that are look very kind of, do you know what I mean? And I think one
Like a
day,
swan and a duck thing.
no, but like one day I will be like that person. One day I will be as strategic and be as organized and be as, that kind of, instead of waking up thinking it's Tuesday, I've got no idea what I can't think of accounts like, I mean, I love like Julie's, I love her account. I just love her whole thing. I don't
Yeah,
really,
Brandon by
yeah,
Jules, yeah.
Brandon by Jules. I don't really do the whole big kind of influencer type ones because I just think they're so not real. I can't bear that whole world. I think I'm too old for that whole world.
Yeah.
Do it just seems too not real.
Yeah.
I like people that are keeping it real, that are working hard, that are, showing beautiful stuff or doing whatever it is they're saying, or showing themselves, or being real, or being authentic, or starting conversations, and you feel as if you know them. They're the kind of ones I follow. I don't follow any like big American, because I just it just doesn't seem real to me. So I
Yeah.
like smaller accounts that just you feel as if you know them.
Yeah. No, that's very valid. Right, are you ready for the quick fire round
Yeah.
now?
Yeah.
So, what is your favorite social media platform?
Instagram.
Well, that was a given. Sure, can't sway you to TikTok.
Oh no. Do you know
Harry
I watch?
Styles.
Well, I do watch TikTok in my bed at night. I know you're not supposed to, but that's like I can't read just now. I haven't read a book for ages. I just can't seem to get my head. So TikTok's my. But I mean, someday
Guilty
you're just
pleasure.
like, oh, what a lot of nonsense. I just, but
I
yeah,
love
I
it.
know that you love it. Do you love just Harry Styles ones, or do you love it in general?
I love the algorithm. It's just obviously it knows exactly what you've watched the whole way through, so it just serves up more of that. And
But see, I
whatever
get
it is
really
that you
random ones. I don't get ones. But
do
maybe I
not.
watch really random ones. But I don't think my algorithms work. I get a
I get
lot.
cats, Harry Styles, and people going like
Yeah,
that.
you get that. I just get a lot of people dancing, but I don't really think I watch them. I just kind of think, oh, and you know that one, The Greatest Showman. You know the one that they're all doing, and they're all.
Yes.
If I see one, I'm like, oh, keep going, and I don't watch them, so nah, not TikTok.
It's funny, I end up going round the house with the wee songs just to get that wee bit in my head, and I'll be like, "Ugh." And Scott's like, what the heck is that? And I'm just like, I've no idea. And when you hear it on the radio, you're like, oh, it's an actual
Oh, I
song.
know it is weird when you no TikTok, no, because and I'm never going to be the dancing on the reels person. No, no, no.
So, video or podcast?
So I walk every morning at 7:30, and I walk alone. I don't take the dogs or anything like that, and I listen to a podcast every morning. So I listen then, but if I'm trying to learn something, or if I'm trying to, it would definitely be video. I need it visual for that.
Yeah,
So, but
definitely.
when I'm walking, I like listening. I like a podcast
Yeah. Live or pre-recorded?
live,
Oh, filter or no filter
no
from a
filter,
photographer?
no
Oh,
filter.
really?
Yeah, no filter. No,
I thought you were going to say filter.
no, because you don't need a filter. You just need
The right light.
the right light and the right angles, and it's getting quite dark in here, so the right light's maybe not so good in here just now. But no, I can't. And because do you know what? See, when people have got filters on, it's so obvious. Like nobody's skin is like, you know, that whole. And I always just think, why have you done that? And probably I don't even really know how to add a filter. I don't know if I do, but
And then they see themselves in the mirror and they're like,
yeah, they must see themselves. What the hell? And they'll meet people in real life and they'll think, well, she doesn't look anything like. You know, I saw something. There was something. You know, these wee meme things that they do in like underground stations. You know, that kind of. They always have a kind of board as if it's, and it was somebody saying, oh God, now I can't forget it, but it was basically saying, stop putting photographs up of yourself that you've completely, you know, filtered and, you know, cropped and whatever, because if you go missing, nobody will know who to look for, because it won't be that person, that kind of, and you think, yeah, I'm all about keeping it real, but looking good.
Yeah, absolutely. Daily posting or ad hoc?
I do post daily, but I do ad hoc.
Bit of both.
A bit of both.
Well, I think we know the answer to this one. DIY or outsource it?
Oh, DIY. Well,
yeah,
DIY, but I would like to outsource it, but I think outsourcing would take up too much time to prepare to outsource it.
Yeah, I get that. I totally get where you're coming from with that. And then I think we've probably touched on this one as well. TikTok or Reels?
Well, I do. I make reels, and I love reels, and I think they're great, and they're great for reach. But no, I would never have a TikTok account ever. I'm 30, at least 30 years too old.
But if you're making Reels, you might as well go and put them over there.
Oh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure my ideal client is on TikTok. I don't think. I could be wrong, but nah.
Your favorite binge shows like Netflix, Prime, anything like that? What you watching at the minute?
Well, we've just finished, and our lives are quite empty now from Married at First Sight Australia. Oh, did you watch it? No.
No, I've not seen that one.
Dear God, you don't know what you've missed. It was awful. It was the worst telly ever, but it was just 7:30 every night. It was fantastic.
What's it called?
Married at First Sight Australia.
Ah.
Yeah. Literally, it is they marry at the altar. They've never met. They meet at the altar. And so it's like a social experiment kind of thing, but they're just the worst people, and they've all got issues and all that kind of thing. But that was on for 5 weeks every night. So we watched that. We're now watching Firefly Lane. And what else? Oh, all the ones that everybody's watched during lockdown.
Tiger King. God, do you remember the Tiger King?
How long ago does that seem? That seems a lifetime ago. Yeah, we watched Queen's Gambit. We watched Bridgerton. Hated every minute of it.
Oh, really?
Oh,
I loved it.
Oh, did you?
That was the show that then made me fall into Poldark and then into Downton Abbey, and that was me for like a solid, like, I don't know, 8 weeks or something,
No.
just constantly watching that.
No, I've never watched Downton Abbey. Poldark, no thanks. I actually don't like period dramas, and I thought Bridgerton was just.
Neither did I.
Oh, really?
Well, I watched that.
No, I just thought Bridgerton, again, I think I'm showing my age. There was too much
stuff. Unnecessary.
Graham and I were like sitting there going, it adds nothing. It adds nothing to the story. felt like, oh, you know, like your mum kind of thing. All this. We were fast forwarding. Oh, no, not.
Paula's saying she's with you on Married at First Sight Australia.
It was, honestly, you need to, but it's quite an investment of your time. It's an hour and a half show, 5 nights a week.
5 nights?
Yeah, Monday to Friday. Oh, it was fantastic.
Ooh.
And it just got better and better.
Oh. No, when you get to the end of especially if it's been a big series, you feel whole, don't you? It's like, those people were in my life every day for 8 weeks and now they're gone.
I had never watched Mad Men. We watched all of Mad Men recently. That was good. And we're also watching, what's the one about the White House?
Is it Designated Survivor?
Nope. No,
No.
it's one from years ago. Years ago when I tell
Was
people
it
that
House of Cards?
that's it. House of Cards.
Yeah.
People were like, was that not like 2012? I went, yeah, I've just never quite. So every so often when we don't, there's nothing else, we'll say, well, we put one on kind of. But
Yeah.
we need to find another one. Schitt's Creek, couldn't get into that. Have you watched that?
I struggled to get into it, but when I did, that was me again. I was addicted.
Everybody keeps saying persevere, and you think,
It was a tough one to get into because I think because the episodes were so short, it was difficult to keep up with. But once I got into it, I got into it. And Orange is the New Black, is that what it's called?
yeah,
Which was one of the first
that was
shows to
hard. I
come
was
out on
going to say,
Netflix.
yeah, that's quite old as well, isn't it? God, it's getting so
Yeah,
dark in here. Can you still see me? Look,
I can still see you.
it's just it's absolutely pouring outside, and it's just the sun has just
Oh, is it?
completely disappeared.
Oh no. Up north where it stays light a wee bit later.
No, it's not getting dark as in like getting dark. It's just so grey and miserable that I just wondered
Oh,
if you could actually see me. I should move to the window.
yeah. I can definitely see you. Right, so we're getting into the questions
Okay.
now that were sent in. So if anybody wants to ask anything, fire them in the comments just now and we'll get to them at the end. So how often should you get a branding photos done and how many photos per shoot would you recommend?
So I would get your photographs done. I would get them done at least, well, yeah, twice a year. I would get them done because I think there's nothing worse than seeing photographs that aren't in the right season. It sounds ridiculous, but in the winter when you've got your nice big polo neck on and all that, it just looks ridiculous in the summer, and the same
Yeah.
vice versa. Your hair changes, obviously in lockdown. Yeah, your hair changes, what you're doing changes. Everybody, you don't always stick to what you're doing. You don't do the same thing year in, year out. So you want to tell that story of how your business has changed, has evolved, and just mix it up. You just want to always have a gallery, a library of brand photographs that you can just, go to straight away. It makes content planning a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
To tell your story, you can just. So I would say twice a year, and I would say you want at least. You would love to have, I mean, you're not going to post a photograph every day because you're going to have different kind of things. But I would say
Variety is key though, isn't it?
you've
Like
got to,
change the outfit, that sort of thing.
you want to change the outfit, even just change your earrings, change your lipstick, change your glasses. I've got more pairs of glasses, but like put your hair up, put your hair down, go outside, be at your desk. Even I did a thing, a TikTok, or not, you've got me obsessed with TikTok now, but I did a reel and it was literally like, so I'm pointing as if you can see. So I've got a table at the window and I set up my camera and then I took one, so it was like a very environmental shot of me working at my desk. And then I just kept moving it forward. And then I took it from the side and then I took it from behind. You're still working at your desk, but it just gives you a variety of images. You don't just want a headshot. Don't just have a headshot. You want to tell. I always say you should have 5: who you are, what you do, where you do it, how you do it, and then photographs about you as a person, whether it's your daily routine, your hobbies, as a mum, whether you love cooking, knitting, running, whatever.
Yeah.
You've got to show who you are as a person, as a kind of rounded person, as a business owner, and as a person. You want people to get to know you and start conversations. Your photographs need to start conversations. So that didn't answer that question at all, did it? So I mean,
it's one of those things as well. It's like it's the bank of images, isn't it? It's the library of images that you're trying to get with that variety, like you say, the different seasons, the different angles, the different outfits, so that you can constantly use them.
Yeah.
I'm aware that I really need to get new ones. But I will probably always still use the old ones as well to interject. And it's great because, like you say, when it comes to doing an email newsletter, a sales page, a piece of content, it's just I don't have to stop what I'm doing and go and get a photo.
No,
It's there in a
it's,
folder on
yeah,
my desktop.
yeah. And even if you're winging it a bit like me and you're thinking, what, you could even go to your bank of images and then you'll see one and you'll think, I could do that one. I could tell
Yeah,
that story, or I could, and it doesn't need to be, I'm sitting at my desk and I always say, like whether it's just like tea or coffee, but it's, a photo of a mug and it's, you got your brand color, whatever. But it's just, it helps with your content planning if you're a planner. But if you're a winger, you can still go and look at them and then think, that's exactly what
yeah,
I'm going to talk about today.
yeah. What is your favourite thing that obviously you'll miss at the minute about going out on brand shoots?
So I love, obviously before I go on a shoot, I speak to them on Zoom and but I just love going into their space. I love, it's quite intimate, and these people are putting themselves into your hands. They're trusting that you're going to make them look good, that you're going to do what you say you're going to do. But so it's quite a kind of intimate, close relationship for an hour or 3 hours or whatever. So I just love chatting to them. I love finding out about them. I love finding out about their story. I love finding out, and a lot of the women that I do photograph are kind of not second timers, but like they're in their 40s. This is like wasn't their initial career, that kind of idea. So I just love hearing how and
Stories.
why and that kind of thing. So by the end of it, you do feel, I mean, in fact, I would say everybody I've photographed, I would say I'm friends with, we can message, we can, that kind of thing. So it's a very intimate
Yeah,
time, and I love that.
yeah, yeah. And then next question is the last question. So if anyone else has got something to ask, put it in now. How far do you travel for your brand shoots?
As far as you want. See, after lockdown, I will go wherever. As honestly, I travel, so I would go all over Scotland. I would go anywhere actually. You tell me where you want me to go, and I will go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Aberdeen.
Aberdeen. I'm there. Honestly, see when they've opened up that road, or I'm sure it's not even closed, but once I can go, I'm up. Honestly, that's my new thing. I'm not going to say no to anything. No. Do you want to go out Saturday night? Yes, I do. Even if I don't. Do you want to come and work in the islands? Yes, I do. I will come.
Do you
So
want to take your accounting job back?
no, that's the only one I do. That's my only no. But
The only no.
yeah, I would travel, and if anybody wants me to go to Mallorca with them, you know, I will.
There you go.
I
How
will.
far? Yeah. Imagine if you get people like in the States and
Oh, I know.
Australia and all these sorts of places
That
like
would be
wanting to come
nice.
out.
That would be very nice. But stranger things have happened.
Yeah, very true. Right, let me just have a quick scroll, make sure. I think I caught all the questions. I don't think we've got any more. No, I think we're good. I think we're good. So thank you
No,
so
thank
much.
you. That was fun.
It's been great fun. Yes, and I'll let you get back to your Thursday, and yeah, hopefully lockdown will end soon,
Yes.
and
And we
yeah,
can
we
meet in
can meet up.
person.
Yes, definitely.
That would be
Get some
lovely.
new photos.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Take
Have
care.
a good
See
day.
ya.
Cheers.
Andrew, bye.
Bye.